So, Conspiracy 2 is finally about to be released, I think about a week or so from now. It's next Friday as of filming this. And I figured it might seem kind of weird to talk about Constructed Magic the Gathering, or cards relevant to Constructed Magic, from a set that's, well, meant to be drafted. Well, the truth be told is that the last Conspiracy set had a lot of really awesome constructed staples that are played in, well, pretty much every other constructed format they're actually legal in. So I figured rather than going through a whole set review, I'd rather just point out the cards that are from the Conspiracy 2 set that will be relevant for Constructed Magic the Gathering. Now, the thing is that the set itself has not been entirely spoiled yet, so I'm probably going to be releasing a bunch of videos this week covering the whole set. I think it's about 200 cards or so expect quite a few videos. I'll probably post a few here and there. So just keep your heads up. I'll have them on the link below so you'll see them. And so as they're spoiled, I'll make more videos. Before we get started, I'd just like to say that I'm not going to be going by any color, shape, form, or any real order like I normally do my set reviews in. I'm just going to dive in and point out what's awesome and what just plain stinks. And yes, I'm going to be calling this Conspiracy 2 just because it changed its name once already. Starting off with our spoilers of Conspiracy 2, we have Burning Wish! Yes, Burning Wish is reprinted, and this card is just nuts. I mean, ever since its release in, I think it was like 2001, 2002, it's been played in just about every format ever. I mean, just think about it. Your sideboard, or wherever you want to keep your cards outside the game, becomes basically a giant toolbox that stores all your board wipes, show and tells. It does basically everything you want that a sorcery can do. The other reprinted card that has been spoiled now is Inquisition of Kozilek. Honestly, this is a kind of a weird one because I didn't think we were still on Zendikar. Also, why is it rare? Normally, I feel like draft focuses on spells that are a little bit on the higher end of the mana curve, so having a rare spell that kinda doesn't take care of a late game threat really kinda seems strange. Nonetheless, it's really good to see Inquisition of Kozilek. I do know a lot of people did want it reprint. Moving on, the image that has been spoiled for quite some time turns out to be Queen Marchesha. In case you don't remember, Marchesha was actually a legend from the original Conspiracy, which was a Grixis-colored commander, which is blue, black, red, and she became really popular in EDH. I remember when she came out, just about everyone in my neighborhood wanted to play Marchesha in EDH, and it got really redundant really fast. This new Marchesha is, well, Queen Marchesha, so we should say, and honestly, I'm sort of let down by this. I thought we were kind of going to get something a little bit more, I don't know, new and fresh. But I feel like this just kind of falls into the old trap of Wizards just remaking their old legends like we've seen from Eldritch Moon and Shadows over Innistrad. And I feel like you need to keep making new legends, and unless you're going to have that legend go through a whole new changing process, or if they're going to be like a zombie or something like that, you shouldn't make a new card for them. You could argue that becoming a queen is a pretty big step, but in my books, you're still a human being. Even your card says that, so you can't argue with that. But to be honest, this card really isn't that bad. I'm pretty sure there are going to be people who are going to be making an EDH deck out of it, as using this as the general. Honestly, for flavor reasons, I think it would have been more flavorful to have First Strike Death Touch than Death Touch Haste. Marchesha doesn't seem to be too fast on that throne of hers. Marchesha also comes with a new mechanic, which is the Monarch mechanic. This is actually a really neat idea. It's kind of like having this universal emblem that you pass around the table whenever a card tells you to pass it around. This emblem, I guess, gets its name from the set itself, as you are essentially trying to take the crown from other people. The benefits of being the Monarch give you an extra card at the end of your turn, while at the same time damaging you, the Monarch, passes the crown to the player that damaged you. This honestly is a really awesome idea for multiplayer games. I think a lot of people are going to really have some political struggle wars and just free-for-alls or EDH or on your kitchen table. It just seems like a real blast. In addition to Marchesha, there also are a lot of other cards that, well, pass around the crown. Like these red pillow fort creatures, which are actually not so bad when you think about it for multiplayer games. If you constantly attack the Monarch or have some way to make yourself the Monarch, the Knights of the Black Rose will probably be a staple in your white-black EDH deck or in your deck with Marchesha. Speaking of other great ways to keep people interested in a multiplayer game, voting returns. And although it was originally called Will of the Council, I don't really see the purpose of it changing. It seems like it does the same thing, basically. So what was the dilemma? Nonetheless, these cards are really fun. I really wish there were more of these, and I'm sure there will be more spoiled in the future. I'm a big fan of this one here, Capital Punishment. It seems like it will probably see a lot of play in a lot of EDH games where you know that you'll be with a lot of people because the more people in the game, the merrier. Now, one thing I absolutely cannot stand about the spoilers so far is the fact that there are so many cards, including the conspiracies, which you'll never see play outside of this format, which I've never liked. Mainly just because after you're done playing Conspiracy, you can never really use them again, unless you play like Cube Draft or something. But still, the idea is you more than likely will never use these again, so you're paying your good hard-earned money for just a one-time fling. Now, Conspiracy cards have always been that way. They were like that in the first set, but now we have something that's arguably even more of a headache. Actual playable cards in the game, not conspiracies, which you hang on the side and activate when certain criteria have been met, but actual spells that are relevant during only the draft? Why? Honestly, this is just kind of really, really nasty. Just because once you're finished playing Conspiracy, this thing, or these things, just lose all of their use. I mean, I'm sure there was a way you could have thought of some cute interaction during the draft while at the same time having an ability that would have been relevant regardless of what the format was. But seriously, this is just silly. Like I know the set's about being in like multiplayer drafts, but still players are going to want to play with their cards after they draft. The sad thing is there are so many of these cards spoiled so far, and I'm really not a big fan of these. I'm sure they may be recommended by some draft enthusiasts for when you're trying to make your draft picks, but outside of Conspiracy, these things are just junk. No, scratch that. They're jank. They are complete jank. No, scratch that. Some jank cards can be playable. We need to think of a new word. Jagank. Jagank? Yeah. These things are complete jagank. They're a piece of junk that's lower than jank. Jagank. On a slightly higher note, while it may not see play in Vintage or Legacy, Kaya the Ghost Assassin will definitely see some play in your white and black EDH decks. Simply because there are just tons of white and black creatures that just have all this enter the battlefield value.